So I would like to introduce you to our style tip sheet, that scary looking document with a bunch of titles, codes, and sample sentences. Hopefully this little video will help unpack it, make it less intimidating and mysterious. Of course, you want to have it out in front of you as you work through this video. So you can see that the sheet is organized by sentence variety. And each section of the sheet is identified as based on the element of sentence variety that you want to deploy. So the sentences labeled initial sentence variety all have some structure at the beginning of the sentence that is the technique that we want to emphasize. Internal obviously refers to structures in the middle of the sentence, and terminal would be the structures at the end of sentences. Let's take a look at the layout. You have the blue is the title of the technique. The orange is the code, the grammar code that you can use to help you see the technique in its schematic form. In the first one, dependent clause, comma, independent clause, period. The codes are helpful because they give you the core grammatical structure plus the key punctuation, which sometimes you can miss, even though I've highlighted it in orange in the actual sentences. The sentences themselves are examples of the technique identified in the title and the code. So let's look at a specific sentence that models the technique. So this is coordination technique 1. The code is IC, comma, fanboys, IC, period. You remember this from our style lectures. And then there's the sample sentence. Active voice brings clarity to your prose by paring away extra words, comma, fanboys, IC. Sentence variety demonstrates your control of a wide variety of grammatical forms. So the sentence models the technique identified in the title and the code. Here's another example sentence, which I want to use to highlight the role that active verbs play in all of the sentence in this document. Every sentence is written in active voice. Here's a good example of a strong active verb here, enhances. So as you're learning a new technique, in this case, a kind of cool resumptive modifier that follows a colon at the end of the sentence, the phrases that follow clarify the meaning in the independent clause. Anyway, this is a cool technique, and the active verb makes it even stronger. And as you go through the sheet, you'll notice that all the sentences are written in active verbs, which gives you a sense of the range and energy these verbs can offer you and provide in your prose. Remember, the punctuation is absolutely vital. If you look at the initial variety section, every sentence begins with a phrase or clause followed by a comma. That comma is really important. You don't have that there and you lose your readers. But especially in initial variety techniques, the words that come right after the comma are also really important. Notice how specific this noun is. It becomes the subject of the sentence because the specificity is really important and makes sure that the clause or phrase in front of it properly modifies it. If you have a vague pronoun like it or they, it's very easy to have a sentence that becomes a dangling or misplaced modifier or a mixed construction. And to avoid that, we want to make sure we have the proper punctuation and a clear and specific noun after that. So you go ahead and try using this style sheet. Take some time to study the sheet. Go ahead and take the quiz that follows the sheet, and be aware there's lots of questions about this sheet in future quizzes as well. And then pick out one technique from this sheet to practice in the coming week. Maybe you'll practice it in a draft. Maybe you'll practice it in a revision. Maybe you'll use it in an in-class or online writing in the course, depending on which section of the class you're in. Or maybe you'll use it in your blog post, where the new techniques can really add some energy, clarity, and logical sophistication to your writing. Thanks for listening. See you out there on the blackboard.